from the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. The bona fide spiritual master in that bona fide chain of disciplic succession never claims to be the Lord himself, although such a spiritual master is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver the Lord by his personally realized experience. The Lord is not to be found simply by education, by good fruitful. Surely he can be found by the sincere student through the transparent medium of the bona fide spiritual master. The revealed scriptures give direction directly to this because the bewildered living entities are blinded by the glaring reflection in the darkness. They are unable to find out the truth of the revealed scriptures. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, the whole direction is targeted toward the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. But for one of a bona fide spiritual master in the line of Brahmaji, the direct hearer, Arjuna, there are different distortions of the revealed knowledge by unauthorized persons who just want to satisfy their own needs. Undoubtedly, the Bhagavad Gita is accepted as one of the most brilliant stars in the horizon of the spiritual sky. Yet the interpretations of this great book of knowledge have been so grossly distorted that every student of the Bhagavad Gita is still in the same darkness of glaring material reflection. And such students are hardly enlightened by the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, basically, the same instruction is imparted as in the 4 prime verses of the Bhagavatam. But due to wrong and fashionable interpretations by unauthorized persons, one cannot reach the ultimate conclusion. In the Bhagavad Gita, 1861, it is clearly said, Isvara Sarvabhuta Videsha Junistishtiti The Lord is situated in the heart of all living beings as and he is controlling all of them under the agency of his external energy. It is clearly mentioned that the Lord is the supreme controller. It's our control. In 1865, the Lord directs as follows. It is clear of the Bhagavad Gita. The direction of the Lord is that one should be God, a devotee of the Lord, a worshiper of the Lord, and must offer all obeisances unto Lord Krishna. And by so doing, the devotee will undoubtedly go back to the Lord. Indirectly, it is said that the whole Vedic social construction of human society is so made that everyone acts as the part and parcel of the complete body of the Lord. The intelligent class of men, or the Brahmanas, are situated on the face of the Lord. The administrative class of men, or the Kshatriyas, are situated on the arms of the Lord. The productive class of men, or the Vaishyas, are situated on the belt of the Lord. And the labor class of men, or the Sudras, are situated on the legs of the Lord. Therefore, the complete social construction is the body of the Lord. And each and every part of the body, namely the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras, is meant to serve this whole body conjointly. Otherwise, it becomes unfit to be coordinated with the supreme consciousness of oneness. Universal consciousness is factually achieved by coordinating service of all concerned to the supreme personality of Godhead, and that alone can ensure total perfection. Therefore, even great scientists, the great philosophers, the great mental speculators, the great politicians, the great industrialists, the great social reformers, etc., cannot give any relief to the restless society of the material world because they do not know the secret of success, as mentioned in this verse of the Bhagavatam. The one must know the history of Bhakti Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is said, Namam Dishkutno Mudha Prapadyante Maya Pratak Asuram Bhavam Asritaham. Bhagavad Gita 715. The so-called great leaders of human society, because of this great knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, sense Lord, are stubborn rebels against the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they never agree to surrender unto Him because they are fools, miscreants, and the lowest type of human beings. Such faithless non-believers may be hardly educated in the material sense of the term, but factually, they are the greatest fools of the world because by the influence of the external material nature, all their so-called acquisition of knowledge has been made null and void. Therefore, all advancement of knowledge in the present context of things is being misused in terms of the cats and dogs fighting with one another for sense gratification. And all acquisition of knowledge, science, philosophy, fine arts, nationality, economic development, religiousness, and great activities are being spoiled by being used as dresses for dead men. There's no utility in the dresses used for covering a coffin in a dead body, save getting a false applause from the ignorant public. The Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, says again and again that without attainment of the status of Bhakti Yoga, all activities of the human society are to be considered as absolute failures only. It is said, Rabhabhavas tavadabita jato, Ivana Jasa Atmatatvam, Vadkriyas Tadvad Edam Manovai, Kamatmakam Yena Sirirabandha, Srimad Bhagavatam 555. As long as one is blind to inquiring after self-realization, all material activities, however great they may be, are all different kinds of defeat because the aim of human life is not fulfilled by such unwanted and profitless activities. The function of the human body is to attain freedom from the material bondage, but as long as one is fully absorbed in material activities, his mind will be overwhelmed in the whirlpool of matter, and thus he will continue to be engaged in material bodies, life after life. Evam anakarma vasam mukte, Adamyanatma Abadiyamane, Patirnadavan, my Vasudeve, Namochite Deha Yagena Tavat. Srimad Bhagavatam 556. It is one's mind that generates different kinds of bodies for suffering, different kinds of material pangs. Therefore, as long as the mind is absorbed in fruitive activities, it is to be understood that the mind is absorbed in nescience, and thus one is sure to again and again be subjected to material bondage in different bodies until one develops a transcendental love of Godhead, Vasudeva, the Supreme Person. To become absorbed in the transcendental name, quality, form, and activities of the Supreme Person. Vasudeva means to change the temper of the mind from matter to absolute knowledge, which leads one to the path of absolute realization and thus frees one from the bondage of material contact and engagements in different material bodies. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada therefore comments on the words Sarvatra Sarvada in the sense that the principles of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to the Lord are apt in all circumstances. That is, it is recommended in all the revealed scriptures. It is performed by all authorities. It is important in all places. It is useful in all causes and effects, etc. As far as all the revealed scriptures are concerned, he quotes from the Skanda Purana on the topics of Brahma and Narada as follows. Samsre bin Mahagare Janarichi Samakule Pujanam Vasudevasya Tarakam Vadabi Smritam. In the material world, which is full of darkness and dangers, combined with birth and death, and full with different anxieties, the only way to get out of the great entanglement is to accept loving transcendental devotional service of the Lord Vasudeva. This is accepted by all classes of philosophers. Srila Jiva Goswami also quotes another common passage which is found in 3 Puranas, namely the Padma Purana, Skanda Purana, and Linga Purana. It runs as follows. Alilodya sarva shastrani vacharya puna puna dhammekam sunispanam dayo narayana sada. By scrutinizingly reviewing all the revealed scriptures and judging them again and again, it is now concluded that Lord Narayan is the supreme absolute truth, and thus he alone should be worshipped. The same truth is also indirectly described as follows. Brahmgato Pivedanam Sarva Satrata Vajyapi Yuna Sarvesvre Bhaktastam Vidyad Parashadamaham. Even though one may have gone to the other side of all the Vedas, and even though one is well versed in all the revealed scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he must be considered to be the lowest of mankind. Similarly, it is also stated indirectly as follows. Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavada Kinchana Sarvaikanas Tatra Samasate Suryaha Arava Bhaktasya Kato Mahadguna Manar Vatena Sato Davato Yahi. One who has unflinching devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead must have all the good qualities of the demigods. And contrarily, one who is not a devotee of the Lord must be hovering in the darkness of mental speculation, and thus must be engaged in the material impermanence. It is also said in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shabdar Brahmanti Nishmato Nasayat Parayadi Tavasyasa Shrama Palho Yadedum Yavi Rakshataha. One may be well versed in all the transcendental literature of the Vedas, but if he fails to be acquainted with the Supreme, then it must be concluded that all of his education is like the burden of the beast, or as one's keeping a cow without milking capacity. Similarly, the liberty of discharging loving transcendental service to the Lord is invested in everyone, even the women, the Shudras, the forest tribes, or any other living beings who are born in sinful conditions. Devai Vadanti Atranti Te Vumayam Stri Suja Huna Sabha Api Papa Jivaha Yidyatputa Krama Parana Kila Sekash Chiragyana Api Kamu Shuta Teraniye. Srimad Bhagavatam 2746. The lowest of human beings can be elevated to the highest stage of devotional life if they are trained up by the bona fide spiritual master, well versed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. If the lowest can be so elevated, then what to speak of the highest who are well versed in Vedic knowledge? The conclusion is that devotional service of the Lord is open for all, regardless of who they are. That is the confirmation of its application for all kinds of performers in the service. Therefore, the devotional service of the Lord with perfect knowledge through the training of a bona fide spiritual master is advised for everyone, even if they happen not to be human beings. This is confirmed in the Garuda Purana as follows. Gita praksi maganam aras samyaste karmanam ardvam evagatim manikim punar ganinam nirnam. Even the worms, birds, and beasts are assured of elevation to the highest perfection of life if they are completely surrendered to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So what to speak of those philosophers amongst the human beings? Therefore, there's no need to seek properly qualified candidates for discharging devotional service of the Lord. Let them be either well-behaved or ill-trained. Let them either be learned or fools. Let them be either grossly attached or in the renounced order of life. Let them be liberated souls or desirous of salvation. Let them be inexpert in the discharge of devotional service or expert in the same. All of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharge of devotional service under the proper guidance. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita as follows. Apichet suchiracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak saraiva samantavya samagvasito hisaha mam hi partava pasritya yepisu papayonyaha striya vaishestata sudras tabiyanti param gatim. Bhagavad Gita 9:30 through 32. Even if a person is fully addicted to all sorts of sinful acts, if he happens to be engaged in the loving transcendental service of the Lord under proper guidance, he is to be considered the most perfect holy man without a doubt. And thus any person whosoever he or she may be, even the fallen woman, the less intelligent labor class, or the dull, mercantile type of men, or even men lower than all these, can attain the highest perfection of life by going back home, back to Godhead, provided he or she takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in all earnestness. The sincere earnestness is the only qualification that can lead one to the highest perfectional stage of life. And unless and until such real earnestness is aroused, there is a difference between cleanliness and uncleanliness, learning or non-learning in the material estimation. The fire is always fire, and thus, if somehow someone touches the fire, knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will act in its own way without any discrimination. The principle is Hare Harati Papani Tushtartar Apismata. The all-powerful Lord can purify the devotee of all sinful reactions, just as the sun can sterilize all sorts of infections by its powerful rays. Attraction of material enjoyment cannot act upon the pure devotee of the Lord. There are hundreds and thousands of aphorisms in the revealed scriptures. Even the self-realized souls are also attracted by the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Simply by hearing and chanting, one becomes a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva. A person who does not move from the lotus feet of the Lord, even for a moment or a second, is to be considered the greatest of all Vaishnavas. The pure devotees are convinced of attaining the association of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, in all continents, in all planets, in all universes, there is currency of devotional service of the Lord, or Bhakti Yoga, and that is the statement of the Srimad Bhagavatam and allied scriptures. Everywhere means in every part of the creation of the Lord. The Lord can be served by all the senses, or even simply by the mind. The South Indian Brahmin who served the Lord simply on the strength of his mind also factually realized the Lord. Success is guaranteed for a devotee who fully engages any one of his senses in a mode of devotional service. The Lord can be served by any ingredient, even the most common commodities, a flower, a leaf, a fruit, or little water, which are available in any part of the universe without any cost. And thus the Lord is served universally by the universal entities. He can be served simply by hearing. He can be served simply by chanting or reading about his activities He can be served simply by adoring him and accepting him. Are there any comments or questions? Today is also Pancha Nirjala Ekadasi. So Prabhupada recommends that we fast from grains and beans today. Prabhupada never asked us to have a total fast without eating anything or by not drinking water. But he encouraged us to fully engage on devotional service on this holy day of Ekadasi. All glorious to His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
So today is the Ekadashi. We're fasting from grains and beans. And we'll do a little bit of Sankirtan announcements. Do you Prabhus have any thing you can whip up real quick? Any track record? Bhagavatam is a Mahabig. Okay, so this week we had at least 2 distributors. Haribol. And in second position with 1 small book, 1 medium book, 1 big book, and 1 Maha big book for a total of 3.75 book points. Magadari Das. Hare Krishna. And oh, great. Yep. Okay, I can count it up. So it looks like we have 3 distributors at least. Actually, we have more than that. We had Bhakta Luke. We had Bhakta Joseph. We even had, I think, Bhaktin Taylor Mataji, and maybe even Bhaktin Kayla. Jagannath may have distributed some books too. So let's look at this. We have 3 distributors confirmed. And in third position with 3 small books and 1 Maha big book for a total of 2.75 book points, Bhakta Luke. Haribol. This is his debut book distribution. He's got a good career coming up. A lot of blessings to give out. And then in second position, we already mentioned Margadari Das. And in first position with 2 small books, 1 big book, and 2 Maha big books, Bhakta Joseph. Haribol. Okay. Bhakta Joseph Prabhu, would you be able to give a highlight? Bhakta Joseph is going to call Bhakta Luke to see if he can participate in the Sankirtan festival with us.
Yeah, so I was at the plaza doing some Harinam, and there was a nice guy who was, I think he was homeless. I don't know. Kind of looks that way. But he accepted a book. He gave me $1 for a Teachings of Lord Chaitanya book. And I got his phone number, so maybe we see him again soon. His name was Bodhi. He was pretty cool guy. Hare Krishna.
All right. All right. Little by little. So yeah, so we were fortunate this week. We had a lot of nice nectar, a lot of action, a lot of momentum in the, you know, participation from devotees. And one of the devotees or one of the people who have started coming is Brandon. He's related to Dayton or Blade. And so Brandon wanted to come help for the festival. So he mowed the lawn a little bit and participated in the Sunday festival. And after the event, he wanted to contribute $20. And that was a great opportunity to make sure he got a Bhagavad Gita and some different books, Science of Self-Realization, little medium book, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, and Yoga, Perfection of Yoga. So all my books were distributed to him. And he said he's quite a reader. So, and Maharaj gave him the blessing that he's going to be turning page after page just to get the nectar of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So, translated book distribution Ki Jai. You want to share something for Bhakti Luke?
Yeah. Dr. Luke sold the Bhagavatam. Dr. Luke's last day on Harinam, he sold the Bhagavatam as we were leaving. So it's very nice timing. We were heading out, and this guy was jumping around with us, dancing and singing, and he said he had all of our books already, but he still got a Bhagavatam, and yeah, it was pretty exciting. So hope to see both of them soon, this guy and Dr. Luke. So, Hare Krishna.